Hi everyone, welcome back to Blueprint DIY. Angelina here, and today I am going to show you guys how to make a sleeveless coat jacket blazer from a jacket that did have sleeves. And so this is something that I've been exploring with since the springtime. If you followed me for any length of time, you know that I have done this several times. And as a matter of fact, I did a tutorial a couple weeks ago on Periscope and showed you guys as I was altering one of the jackets. So if you haven't followed me on Periscope, go ahead and do that. And as I said before, there's going to be a sewing version and a no-sew version. So let's get started.
Okay, first you'll want to choose your coat. My coats were either old ones that I wasn't wearing anymore or ones that I purchased secondhand. You can pretty much choose any type of coat, blazer, trench coat, or jacket. There are many different styles, but we're going to work with 3 different types. 1, the simple jacket with no lining for all my no-sew viewers. The coat, blazer, or trench with a lining and regular set-in sleeves. Then we'll do a lined jacket with raglan sleeves. These are very common on trench coats as well as letterman jackets or sporty type jackets. Let's do the simple no-sew version first. Cut off each sleeve about 1 inch away from the seam. I'm not showing it here, but you'll also want to make a few slits around the opening towards the seam, but not all the way to the seam. Then fray check all your edges. Now turn the seam to the inside and glue it down with fabric glue. Now look how simple, a ton of cash saved and another outfit rocked. Now we'll skip to the raglan sleeve jacket with a lining. This is the sporty one from my lookbook. Now of course, first rule of remaking clothes is to try it on and figure out exactly what you want to do. In this case, I'm going to cut off the sleeves and the bottom. For this type of sleeve, place a pin right at the top of your shoulder. Then cut 1 inch away from the underarm to the pin. Also, you can just cut off the bottom to shorten it, but I'm going to cut a high-low because I want it to cover my bum. Remember to cut about 1 inch from where you actually want it to leave room for the hem. Now turn the outside layer and the lining in towards one another and sew it down. Start sewing at the underarm so that if there's any difference in the sizes between the 2 layers, you'll have a slight pucker, but nobody will be able to see it because it'll be under your arm. I decided to do a double seam on this one to mimic the existing seams. Now for the bottom, we're going to hem the outer layer and the lining separately. If you don't have a serger, fold each layer over twice and sew down the hem. At the front where the buttons are, I'm going to take apart a portion of the edge seam and turn each layer towards each other and sew it down to make it nice and clean looking in the front. So there you go, another awesome transformation. Now that just leaves the lined coat with a regular set-in sleeve. For this one, you'll just use your seam ripper or scissors and physically take the sleeve off. Then, just like before, we'll cut the lining of the sleeve 1 inch away from the seam. Then, just as before, turn the 2 layers in towards one another and sew them down.
So there you have it, an easy, really simple way to make yourself a sleeveless coat, vest, blazer, coat for the fall and winter time. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.
It's not too late, free from hate. Think of the future that we could create. Face the facts.
Okay, for an edgy look, why not add a little shearling or faux fur to a sleeveless blazer? Both are really in right now, so combining the two, along with these deep colors and textures, really makes a statement.